This is my expanded video around the yellow human wave spell. And this is a very powerful time for seeing what we are manifesting as human beings. So today is Wednesday, the 6th of February, and we had a new moon on the 4th of February. And that new moon was in Aquarius, bringing very powerful energy around who we are as a planetary server and how we can bring in alternatives now to birth this new structure that is coming in on planet Earth through human evolution. Using the wave spell is amazing because it helps you understand what's actually going on in the starry skies. So at a time where you may feel uncertain or unsure, because especially at this time of year every year, there's new information coming in, and this year more than ever, there's new ways to be coming in, really to go with being the gift that we really are now. The mind sometimes struggles with that though and tries to keep us on an old path and may feel unsure around what to do next. And again, this is the blessing and the teaching of all the prophecy and the ancient wisdom behind the Mayan wave spell. So it may seem incredibly complex, and it is, but actually once you start to really intuitively work with this wave spell process, it helps you really connect to this new way of being that's coming in. And resistance is futile. That's the thing, you know, we've got to go with the flow, we've got to go with the human evolution. So today on Yellow Cosmic Seed, I don't know how it's been for you, but here in Glastonbury, the energy has been really frenetic. The moon has gone into the early stages of Pisces now. So the energy is starting to build and open and expand into what we are ready to start to create. So when the new moon started, which was white spectral wind day in the UK, it was dark moon, because it's always dark moon for the first 24 hours, as the moon cannot be seen, it is invisible from the earth. So over the next couple of days, it's a really good time to start to know more about what you intuited on white spectral wind day, and also to really look at what happened the day after, which was blue crystal night. Blue crystal night is the crystal clear code of the conscious dreamer. So again, if you look what happened to you yesterday and how you were feeling and what you were doing, and again, very simplistically, because at heart it is really simplistic, the things that you really enjoyed doing yesterday are key to what you're here to share and expand upon. And things that didn't feel good are things ready to be transformed. Again, this is the essence of the teaching, and I did a blog about this in this wave spell, Yellow Overtone Warrior Day, where I rediscovered an old blog article that I'd done and revisited all that information. I've just been reading an amazing book, The Mayan Crystal Skulls, which was written by somebody who lives local to me, who I've actually met. And again, when you trust your intuition and you read things at certain times, you get access to the perfect information that you need there and then. So it's been an amazing week for me. In terms of how I use the wave spell for myself and with my clients, I go deeper now. I've just started this year. Since I went to Mexico, I am in my 8th year of working with the wave spell. And when I say working with the wave spell, that means that I tune in every day and I really trust my intuition around what I need to explore and what I need to write as a blog or to expand my learning at that point. So this is such a key part of it, you know, is to get off the old mindset. And of course I use EFT as well, which is another amazing resource. There's a great film out on Netflix at the moment called Heal. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend that you do, because it's an amazing film and it talks about all sorts of healing modalities, especially energy therapies as well, and quite a bit about EFT. So the whole core principle of The Alchemist is to know oneself and to know one's cosmic codes, to know what one's patterns are, and then to really start to work on a deep level by healing these patterns and clearing the old ancestral wounding. That, I believe, is the whole purpose of this time and the Mayan calendar, and using astrology and cosmology and healing tools such as EFT will allow us to embody this new story that's coming. So on a very simple basis, anything that's feeling emotionally upsetting, triggering anger or grief, there's always a past story there. And the Mayan matrix helps you see what you were doing at particular times. So instead of just working with this 13-day process with the code itself, you can also work with your code. And if you want to find out more about this, please do get in touch with me. It is life-changing. The code, although it changes because it's a spiral, it happens at different times of the year. So it has different astrology and it has a different moon energy happening. Your personal code does not change. Now, if you're 52 or older, you've already done all your basic codes. So this is where the amazing in-depth mapping can be done. So just to give you a very quick example of that from my personal mapping, I'm a blue solar hand, which means my tribal pattern is I have red earth, white wind, blue hand and yellow human as my tribal family. And that means that although I have a Mayan sign, I have a different energy every year. And up until I was 52, that would be different every single year. Like I say, once we get to 52, we've completed all the different patterns and codes. And so then we revisit the ones that we have already done. And I believe this is in order for us to refine them and to become wise, become the essence of being a Mayan elder. So in terms of yellow human, yellow magnetic human, this for me was in 1970 when I was 5 and I started school at that point. Red rhythmic earth, which was on day 6 of this wave spell, was in 1975. So that's when I was 10 and that's when I was looking to begin high school. White spectral wind, which is when I was 15, that was 1980. And that was a very key year for me. It was when my grandfather died and when I was also taking my exams and leaving school. So I had a massive reaction at that point it was the first time that I'd really experienced death as a young adult, and so it had a huge impact on how I perceived the world, and just changed so many things in the family, and also how I developed a lot of coping mechanisms at that point that weren't very healthy for me at all. So the yellow human wave spell, every time it comes round for me, I'm going to be revisiting these core years and these key themes. Again, when I started school, I guess everyone's got a first day at school story, and I know I have, and a lot of my experience of going to school I didn't like at all to begin with. And so again, this is core to how we set up a template about how we see the world. And ideally, the sooner we revisit it and heal it, the better, because that will keep bringing us events around boundaries and how we were taught, and especially again at the moment it's Aquarius energy, so if you've got strong Aquarius energy in your chart, you will not be a conformer, and I've got Aquarius rising and Lilith in Aquarius, so for me it did create a lot of wounding, and I'm constantly revisiting that. But actually learning about astrology and learning about the Mayan codes has really helped me understand why that happened. And I offer you that all of it was meant to happen because we had to experience things that don't work for human beings, shall we put it that way, and so we can refine them, and so that we can change how we relate to ourselves and how we relate to other people. So for me, this 13-day cycle represents 1970 to 1982, and I am constantly working with it to see what I am manifesting as a human being. So it's remembering that yellow human is the 8th wave spell. So we've done the first 4 wave spells in Red Dragon, and that's what the Great Mother was bringing us for our evolution and as human beings. And then we're going to go into Red Skywalker, which is really starting to work with what came in during those first 52 days, so to refine and align with creating heaven on earth. And the key is to align with the cosmic code that is coming in and the teaching that is coming in. It can seem radical at times because most human beings are used to working with codependent codes, with dishonest codes, with manipulation and deception, and that is wired in. The thing is, though, it doesn't need to stay wired in, and this is what I offer you. If you haven't checked out Emotional Freedom Technique yet, I highly suggest that you do, because it is life-changing and it creates such amazing peace and acceptance of where we've travelled so far in our human being existence. And all I can say really is I've worked with hundreds of people now, and I've done hundreds of charts, and I have no doubt whatsoever that we are here to change the world by changing ourselves, and that each person is literally repeating their ancestors' patterns. And once you start to become very aware of this and develop this skill, it's mind-blowing, because you realise you can actually see the universal conscious process in action, and let go of any fear around there being total randomness, because once you actually start to look at what's happened, the evidence, you can see that nothing is random. Nothing whatsoever is random in this universe. And although it's extremely challenging at times, it's a culmination of how human beings have made choices, often from a very ignorant place and a very unconscious place of just repeating what they know and what they've seen. Again, this is so powerful that we learn by modeling others. So it's so key to be the best role model that you can. And I know, again, you know, being a new parent is so hugely challenging because there's still very little support out there. There's still very little education on how to be a loving, respectful parent. And in most scenarios in the world today, it's very difficult to do that. It's very difficult. And a lot of the food that we have grown up with isn't good for us. And the environment is highly toxic in a lot of places. And so we are really dealing with all these issues now. But again, we are dealing with them and we are finding solutions. So I have huge hope, and the journey that I've been on over the past 7 years in particular, since finding the Mayan Wavespell and astrology, and over 12 years since using EFT, it has been life-changing for me and helps me surrender more and more to a conscious being, a conscious process that I am an expression of, because I know that I don't have all the answers, and I just sometimes have to go with it and not know and not have a solution there and then, which for an Aquarius rising is really frustrating. So new code coming in, and tomorrow we begin a huge 13-day process with 10 evolution portals, and I'll be doing a video tomorrow to talk more about that. So I hope you've had an amazing time during Yellow Human, and that you've had some really huge insights around where you are on your human being journey. Lots of love. Check out my blog at flowwithjo.com. There's loads of new things on there. See you soon.